Welcome to the Injury of the Week. This week we're taking a deep dive into the world of skateboarding, where professional skateboarder Nigel Houston has torn his ACL. And if you don't know who Nigel Houston is, don't worry. Bit of background: he turned pro when he was about 5 years old. He's won multiple world championships, represented the US in the Olympics at skateboarding, and he loves launching himself down staircases. Naturally, because of this, he is absolutely no stranger to injuries, and you could probably do a full series just on his injuries alone. But this week, we're going to focus on the ACL. So to show you the ACL, I have my trusty knee model here. So if we open it up, we're looking just at this little ligament in here. So ACL stands for Anterior Cruciate Ligament. So it's at the front, anterior, cruciate meaning cross, because there's also a PCL, posterior ligament, and they make a cross shape in the middle, and then L, ligament, it's a ligament. So the main function of the ACL is to resist the shin bone sliding forward relative to the thigh bone up here, and it also resists rotational movements. Taking that into account, the normal mechanism of injury for an ACL can be anything that stresses those directions. So usually it's the knee caving in and then a rotation. It can be hyperflexion of the knee or hyperextension of the knee. So any one of them could have happened to Nigel Houston. So as you can see from that mechanism of injury, you don't actually need contact to tear an ACL. Actually, 70% of ACL tears come from no contact at all. So in football, rugby, those kind of things, a lot of the time you'll just see the player try to turn and then they'll collapse without any players around them at all. So a few other interesting things about an ACL tear is that women are actually 3 times more likely to tear an ACL than men, unfortunately. And ACL tears rarely happen in isolation. In fact, 50% of them have an associated meniscus tear, which is this thing here. But you can also tear the MCL, LCL, PCL, all sorts of things. So they are quite nasty injuries. ACL tears are normally diagnosed on a scan, like an MRI or an ultrasound, and then it's up to the team to decide if they want to opt for surgery or conservative management. And research has shown that there's not actually much of a difference between a conservative approach versus a surgical approach. So it actually depends on the injury itself and the person. Are they older or younger than 35 years old? How active are they? And then what are the associated injuries? We know for a fact that Nigel Houston is younger than 35 years old and he's very active. So those factors have led to the team deciding for a surgical approach. So an ACL reconstruction surgery normally involves a graft taken from another part of the body, usually the hamstrings, and then a period in a brace. So given the area the ACL is in, poor blood supply, all the other associated injuries that can happen to it, all the other setbacks, personal factors, the prognosis for an ACL tear varies so wildly from person to person. So the time frame for an ACL tear is somewhere in between 6 to 12 months. Because Nigel Houston's a professional athlete, he's already quite young, healthy, strong, these kinds of things, and he'll be paying for the top dollar treatments as well. So he'll likely be a lot quicker to rehab than the average person. In saying that, it's not impossible for the average person to have a really robust ACL. There's lots of evidence out there for preventative strategies around ACL tears. And even if you've already had one, obviously chatting to your physio and getting a really good rehab plan in place can speed up your recovery massively. And that's this Injury of the Week.